I done's hit my button.
You done hit your
Go
button.
be hitting your buttons.
Well, you know, it's got to say that you're live.
Well, it says I'm live, right?
Right.
Right there where
There.
my big old finger is. Looky there.
It just
That's a big old finger.
It
Look
is.
at that.
I just say, you know, it finally popped up. Showing.
People, there wasn't anybody, but if you only tuned in, there's a big old finger right there. It says I'm live. Good golly.
I know, but it doesn't mean I can access it.
You need a code? Let me give you a code. Try COVID 19.
Oh,
That's your code vid.
that's my code vid, huh?
Code vid. Well, you and Shirley are in the house.
In the house.
In his house.
Are you okay? Did you actually have that stroke?
Not yet. Hopefully I'm good to go.
Okay.
Man, he is hitting a lot of buttons over here.
Hizzle.
I don't think anybody likes hearing me talk about you hitting buttons because everybody always waits a few minutes. I'm gonna have to talk about something else. Wait, I'll wait until like all of a sudden a bunch of people jump in there and then I'm gonna go, and that's what happened.
And that's how the cookie crumbles.
You never seen a donkey up a tree? Well, that's how it works.
No, you know, I haven't ever seen a donkey up a tree.
Ever seen a groundhog in a tree?
No, I don't believe I've seen that either.
Many times at our last location, we had a groundhog climb a tree.
I never
Likes those green shoots in the spring. He'd get out on them limbs and be way down. Because he's a big old chubby groundhog. Yes, sir.
I saw the big old chubby
Hey, I
groundhog.
see a Frank. I see some 9 hidden people. Hey, anyway, we're going to get started. That was our pre-show of nothingness there. Oh, Chucky's live, then we're good to go.
We are good to
Chucky's
go.
into his house.
Oh.
All right, well, I have clickbaited a few of you because on the box opening last night, I teased a store tour, but I'm going to do that tomorrow night. Because there's a few things I want to change before I give it. Because I've been reworking stuff. So I'll give a store tour, short Facebook Live video tomorrow night, probably 5 minutes tops of a store tour, and show you how I've rearranged some things and so forth. All right. So, gotcha.
You feel good about that, dude?
But even though I'm not giving the store tour, I'm gonna go over 3 new products that I've put together. One.
These are awesome.
These are dry erase tokens. Come with a dry erase marker with a little eraser on it and everything. These are going to be very handy with Ikoria and just Commander players. If you don't have the token you need, the emblem you need, you can make one.
And especially
25 of them, $5, plus it has a marker. It's all right there in a little package.
if you're a Commander player, you know there's many times you end up needing tokens that even you made a copy of this that had that on it.
I am so tired of the white dice is an angel, the black dice is a rat, and the blue one is a squirrel. What? No, we're not doing that anymore. So anyway, I got that. A lot of you may or may not, but I have a lot looking for 6-sided dice that match 6 of them so they can play like Zilch or 10,000 or whatever you call it in your part of the world,
right,
with 6 dice and you try to roll them, you know. So anyway, I made up some packs out of my loose dice that all match for those folks who need those for $2.50 for 6 dice, 6 6-siders, because I don't have that to dig through because of the COVID thing. So those are all made up, ready to go. I've got 15 or 20 packs of those. And then I finally did this. I got more of these little starter things going here. So 1K of commons and uncommons for $10. And you get the box. You don't have to give the box back. You can keep the box. I got a bunch of those down for the last 3 weeks. So that's 3 new products. I'll show those again in the video tomorrow night, but I'll show you how I've rearranged behind the counter, how I've redone the board games, which you can kind of see behind us. There's some stuff missing.
D&D stuff.
Things are a little different, so you get a little sneak peek that things are different if you look back there. Some people are going, what in the hell is he talking about? But anyway.
Well, he's just talking to hear his own
So the
voice.
regular start goes a little something like this. Welcome back to another Oscar-worthy performance by Alan and myself. Brought to you by Facebook Live and the letter C. We try to bring you all the info you need to know every week right here on Chat with the Squirrels. Anybody know where that's from? You better know where it's from. The letter C? All right. That's for chatter.
Or for COVID.
COVID. Or for the letter C. Yes, we're still in the COVID window of blah, but we endeavor to march onward. After being closed for 3 weeks, I'm going to be reopening this Saturday.
Right, day after tomorrow.
And I'm going to resume the hours that I'd went to right before, 12 to 6, Wednesday through Saturday.
Limited hours.
So if you're local, come in and see me. At least until I put some events back on my schedule.
Right. We're hoping to be able to do that next month, May.
So instead of telling you what we normally do about the events that we've had or shout outs or the events that are coming up over the weekend, we're going to come up with stuff. And at the end, we're going to go over the rares as we promised. We did Mythics last week. Doing rares this week from Ikoria. Next week will be uncommons and then commons. So that's the way of it. So a few things you may or may not have heard about.
I heard about this.
You may or may not care about, but we're going to tell them to you anyways.
Since we're not open to be able to have events and stuff, this first one I don't care about as much, but you know.
Well, it wasn't going to come out for a while anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, first off, if you haven't heard, Commander decks are going to have a little bit of a dry period.
Yeah, kind of.
So the initial wave is coming that we were going to get for pre-release.
Right.
And then the second wave, the next printing is held up because of the COVID thing, printing issues and so forth. So if you see the prices start to spike, just hold out, people.
Yeah, there's more coming.
There's more coming. They're going to print more of them. You can wait. Trust me, all right?
It's like
mine are gone. They're gone, but I still have some. They're not all pre-sold yet. So if you want some, get you some.
Get you some.
But you don't need to be paying above retail on them, guys. As long as unless you just got more money than sense and you got to have them today. We can't have them today. But,
Right.
But you got to have them May 15th. And then right after that, we learned that Jumpstart, which is a product that's coming out was supposed to come out at the end of June.
Right.
It's going to be pushed back to July 17th. More printing concerns, more printing issues. So close to Core 21. So I kind of like that it's pushed back, to be honest.
That's fair. I think I'm. I can't wait for Jumpstart.
Are you saying words?
I am saying words. I can't wait for Jumpstart.
You guys remember what Jumpstart is?
That's
the
230 or 220 card packs. Is that right? They into 40 card.
Into a 40 card. Well, no, it's 20 card pack that you shuffle 20 lands into.
No, you shuffle. They have lands in them.
They have lands in. Okay,
you buy 2 packs and you shuffle them together for a 40 card deck. You mix 2. Yeah, they already have the lands in them, and you mix 2.
Maybe we don't know what they are, but anyway, it's been a while. There's lots of stuff going on. So, but anyway, that's just another way that COVID's still affecting our hobby. I shared something out earlier today, if you guys didn't catch it, on the website, on the Facebook page, about Geek Winter. So you might look that up. Comic books, movies. You can tell us about movies. Pushed back.
Everything is pushed back.
Nobody's going to the theater. TV shows aren't getting made, and that's what drives geek culture. If there's not going to be new Funko Pops. There's not going to be new comic books. There's not going to be a lot of stuff. T-shirts, lots of merchandise that we gots to have. We not going to need to have because
yeah, it's holding up a lot of that kind of stuff. I mean, they can't shoot anything is the thing, where there's still stuff in the pipeline that's coming to us. Some stuff that's getting released to us through streaming services, but we're going to hit a point where there's nothing being made. Nothing's being filmed right now. They can't get film crews, up and running.
Risk, it's either 27 or 42.
Right. He was asking what C is for.
C. It's the third letter of the alphabet, man. C's for COVID. C's for chatter.
This episode has been brought to you by the letter C and the number 19.
Yeah. And the number 19, yes. Good call. You should have had me put that in there. Sesame Street. Did you grow up without Sesame Street, man? Come on.
We all need Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. So anyway, that's the deal there. All right, so let's.
Yeah, no,
We're ready for here?
I'm ready.
Okay, so we got some announcements. So we knew pre-banned, Lutri was pre-banned in Commander. But this week we also got an announcement that Flash, and they made an adjustment to Rule 11 to make Companion work. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that the adjustment they made was to add one word to Rule 11,
Yeah.
and that wasn't enough to make it work. But later on, the next day, they adjusted Rule 3, and then they made it work. Now, I understood what it meant, and anybody should have understood how it worked, but they made it clearer by adjusting Rule 3. And I still didn't look. I haven't seen a reference. Did they acknowledge that they changed Rule 3
I have not
anywhere?
seen anything acknowledging they changed.
The reason
Rule
I
3.
know that is there's a discussion on my Facebook page with somebody about it worked and everything, and I was trying to explain it, and I was explaining it correctly, but I didn't really have anything to back it up with except my interpretations. I had it open at home on my Chromebook and left the tab open, and then later in the day somebody shared with me the change in Rule 3. And I go, wow, how did I miss that? Because I hadn't read it before.
Right.
When I got home, I looked at the tab on my Chromebook, took a screenshot of it, and they had changed it sometime during the day. And that was kind of interesting. You want to hear me rant, huh?
Well, I
That
know
was
you're
on
going to.
Tuesday, by the way.
That was on Tuesday.
So the other thing they did was they banned the card Flash, not the mechanic.
Right.
The card, there's a card called Flash. It's an old card. It's a busted card, no doubt.
You know,
Okay.
it's just to be clear, before you rant about this, it is banned in Legacy, Modern, Restricted, and Vintage, I believe. Flash already is. It is a very powerful card with a pedigree for getting banned.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Those have no bearing on Commander, but sure. All right. So the reason they banned Flash is not because the majority of Commander players were having a problem with it. It was because a minority of Commander players, namely the CEDH, because it's competitive, because it's a small group that we don't even know. I mean, maybe we got enough fingers and toes. I'm not sure how many there are. A few hundred, thousand, whatever. Not millions, but, you know. They had a problem with it because it broke their format. Their competitive EDH was broken because of Flash. And everybody had to play it, or you had to be able to beat it. And you could basically win with this card on turn 0 if you got the right draw. So anyway, they banned it. It was, I took a couple of little things here. They described it as an extraordinary step and not one that they are likely to repeat. I don't know. To me, it just flies in the face of the fact that, and it's a social format, and I really feel like that the competitive folks should just say, "Hey, here's what we're doing," and here's our rules committee, and here's how we're going to do what we're. I always felt this way, and the fact that they went to this extraordinary. It's the last time we see such a thing. They say that it is, but I hope that it is. I'm just not on board with the whole concept. I have a feeling come the end of the year, I might not be on board with a lot of concepts. Commander, same as it was in 2011. Let me just tell you.
I don't believe that this move of banning Flash to make some CEDH players happy is even worth your ire right now. Wait for the end of the year and see if you have some things to talk about.
Well, it's just another precursor. It's like you start chipping away at stuff. Okay? You start chipping away. Once EDH, I didn't play EDH before it became Commander. Full disclosure, never. I'm here in BF, Missouri.
Right.
So, you know, I never played it, but I immediately saw the attraction of it. I always loved building Highlander style casual decks, so I immediately attracted to the idea. But consistently, WotC has pounded it hard, and they're just really going after it this year.
Right.
And now cards are designed specifically for it, referencing the command zone, referencing Commander. These are must-haves if you're going to be competitive, if you're going to be good at your table. Not even necessarily competitive. If you're going to win your table, if you're going to build the best deck you can, you have to put this card. You have. I'm not a fan of that whole thing. I could almost make my own branch of this. And once you start branching the tree, I understand it gets tricky, slippery, slopey. But I'd almost be in favor if we had a pre-2011 Commander EDH format. Because that's when they started designing. And what's bad is that cards that directly reference Commander are only in Commander products. But every set... I don't think right away, but I'd say in the last 3 years, or 4 for sure, every set they make, they are targeting and making more legendary creatures than ever, and they are trying to fill in every little gap that exists so that you can build a commander deck that does just...
Every set since Dominaria, I'd say that's easy to say.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Because Dominaria, they gave us our legendary in every pack and everything, but I believe that's where the scales tipped. I'm
really hoping this draftable thing at the end of the year is what it is touted as being. I'm hoping for that to be a really good time.
I think it will be. I'm excited for draftable Commander, but I am worried. I am like you worried about what it can do, what cards are the format with new cards they have a whole set.
Fun to draft, but then all of a sudden,
right.
How many of these cards are going to reference Commander? How many of these are going to be free plays from the command zone, or free abilities out of the command zone, or because you cast your commander, or reference your commander to make mana or to do effects? I'm
not against all of those things. But I think a couple years ago when they did the cycle in their pre-con decks of the Commander Storm cards, I think those were a really cool concept. That it pretty much storms, it makes a copy of itself for each time you played your commander that game. It copies that effect. I thought that was a cool, because you're dumping a lot of mana into playing your commander multiple times, and I thought that was a cool, but that does reference your commander. I think there's design space for commander dealing with that, but I do think you have to be careful in how much you do.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen. You got to push the envelope.
I understand.
Just like they're pushing the envelope on everything else.
I understand.
I'll have to take a look at my decks the next time I make a pass through them and see how many commander-specific things I have in my decks, and I might just do it. Commander Sphere, Command Towers. I don't play a lot of those, but I might just make that stance. It's possible. All right. Oh, I'm glad you're watching too. We're going to do a little bit of some news here, and it's going to be handled a lot of different ways depending on where you read it.
Right.
But there was a gentleman named Galen Wood in Florida who got...
An LGS owner, correct?
An LGS owner who got arrested, actually taken to jail, for allegedly violating the Safer at Home order. Now, I don't know all the particulars. I don't know all the particulars of the Safer at Home order and whatnot. But
yeah, in Florida specifically.
In Florida specifically, in the place that he was. I read a little bit, but he maintains that he did nothing wrong. In fact, he offered curbside pickup, which he claims was stressed as an option that stores should look into and do if at all possible. I'm going to give you a quote that I read attributed to him. I would just say I believe curbside pickup is far safer than shipping. It involves only a seller and a buyer who have no contact with each other, only with product. The same transaction in town has a very quick delivery time, but will go through at least 5 postal workers' hands in addition over a span of 24 hours. So there is no possible way that it is safer to send it via USPS to someone local. The concept that we would put our customers in danger is completely off base. I believe the sheriff is trying to unilaterally modify the governor's order is far outside his authority and not in the best safety interest of our customers. I would definitely want your readers to know that the rule of law is important,
Yes.
and that this is a role for the courts. If given a court order, I would definitely have to arrest me without warning because he could not get a court order as he is operating outside the law. A free people should not live in their own government when they know they are abiding by the law. Men, for that very reason, the rule of law is essential to free government. FYI, if you haven't guessed, I do have a bachelor's in political science from the University of Florida and master's from Florida State. And I have absolute zero previous criminal record or even arrest. There was no way he was going to plead guilty. He was going to fight it the whole way. I bring this up, and I don't get political a lot of times, but this is pretty close to home.
Right.
I've been offering curbside, not that I've had a lot of people do it. I've even opened up the door for a few folks when I'm in here working, sold them some stuff, you know. I believe that we have to temper our idea of safety with the idea that the economy has to keep going and that we have to maintain all of it. There is going to be tragedy. There's already tragedy, and there's going to be more tragedy. At some point, we're all setting some kind of limit in our mind of where that tragedy stops.
Right.
You're not going to assign it a specific number, but if you agree with the government, I can tell you right now the government has decided that at X infections per day, at X deaths per day, it's okay for social distancing to go away. Now, what that number is, they're not going to tell you. They're going to ramp you into this, but it's not going to be when the number's zero, folks.
No.
It's not going to be zero. They've decided. And if you agree with them, then you've let them put a number to it.
Right.
I'm not going to put a number to it. I'm not going to say that 10 deaths a day is acceptable. I'm just going to say that life has to continue at some point. And we have to keep on keeping on. And so that's what I look at. I by no means want to impose on you that you have to come in and visit me if you feel unsafe. But if I'm open, I'm open, you know.
I wanted to address a question just a moment ago since we're through that.
Sure.
Risk here, he had asked something. Oh, Shirley there, my lovely wife, is addressing it. He was asking if we ever talk about any other games because he's kind of out of the loop on Magic, and I just wanted to tell him that we do talk about board games and Dungeons and Dragons to some extent.
A little bit, but in all honesty, Magic drives my store and it drives the news.
It generates the most news of most gaming.
I haven't heard anything that's Settlers of Catan related or Ticket to Ride related, or I mean, we could pick any one of these games about it to tell you this week.
Right.
Alan and Shirley have been secreted away making a video that we should someday hopefully get to see.
Yeah.
On playing Munchkin. But we haven't got that yet. I know they've been working on it, and they found that it's very to get it in a format that's easy to watch, get the rules down, and make it so it's not like 2 hours long.
Right.
You know? So I know they've been working on it.
It's almost done, folks. It really is.
most of my news is going to be about what's going to be Magic related. It just is.
We do try to keep up with all the other stuff.
You do need to come in and check out some board games. I got some new deck builders. You want a Harry Potter deck builder? I know you like deck builders. So.
Right. We talked, a few weeks ago we were talking about WotC putting up all the free stuff for D&D, daily content. You know, we do touch on other...
Yeah, if you're playing some D&D, you really ought to go out there to D&D Beyond and check out the free material they're dropping every day. Some free adventures and stuff.
Free one-shot adventures and all sorts of stuff every day, free daily content. So.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while now. So there is some stuff, but it is a very tiny minority.
We are officially reopening on Saturday.
Saturday at noon, I'll be open. 12 to 6, Wednesday through Saturday, starting this Saturday. As you guys may or may not know, but you should know, lots of events are getting canceled. Not just mine.
Right.
All over. I mean, sporting events, what are those?
Yeah.
Concerts? No. You know, conventions. We're geeks. We like conventions. All the big ones are getting canceled. San Diego Comic-Con got canceled this past week.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is a big one. Now we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop and Gen Con to be canceled.
Right.
I think it's just a matter of time.
Like I said, me and Shirley started looking at what our other vacation options for this year would be.
I've been going to it for 14 years in a row, and this will be the first year I've missed if they don't have it. And yet I'm torn between should I go even if they do.
Right.
65,000 people, we won't get that.
No.
We might get 30,000, but how many vendors will be there? And do you really want to go if all this is around? I've been struggling with it. I don't want to not go because with Shirley and Alan going, it'd be a lot of fun seeing first-timers see, but they're not going to see the real Gen Con if it's all annotated, right?
No, I'm not quite a first-timer. I went once 10 years ago.
That's true. You did go with...
But even from what you tell me now, it is so much different than when I went 10 years ago.
When I started, there was 27,000 people. Now it's 65,000.
The first year I went with you was like your third or fourth, or the one time I went was your third or fourth year there, I think. So, it's...
Third, I think, yeah.
It was the year after Gary Gygax died because at the opening ceremony they had the big die everybody was filming, I think.
Yeah.
So, it's been like 10 years or a little more.
So anyway, that's going on with the events. We were going to set up at VisionCon and OzCon. Those are two local cons, Springfield and West Plains. Both those got canceled. It's just not having people here for even my small events. It's just a big hole in my life that I really want back. I want everybody to be safe, but I want that hole filled. I want that emptiness gone because it's been a rough 3 weeks, boys.
I know it's going to be a long time, but I tell you, I can't wait for there to be some GP again for me to watch sometimes too, because I'd like to watch some professional Magic get played.
There is a lot of Magic Fest this calendar year.
I know.
There is speculation deep.
I know there is, and it's all warranted. I understand, but man, I'd love to watch. Just maybe. So, I did get a lot of restocks in this week because you guys pretty much tapped me out on that big sale I had before I closed up, and I appreciate that. I don't normally talk a whole lot about personal finances. I talk about the store, if it's doing well, not doing well, and so forth. I was able, if you guys watch the news, you know that the Paycheck Protection Program, a lot of the big places gobbled up some of that money. Some of them are paying it back. I did get a tiny piece of it. I will say that. So I feel pretty lucky. I bank with a local bank, Harvest. I know that they got several locations, but they're not a giant bank. Right.
Person worked with me. Very, very happy for that. So hopefully that will be a forgivable grant. But that did give me the confidence to be able to be closed 3 weeks and to reopen and to hopefully have enough funds to keep going for a couple months. It's not going to keep me going for a long time, but it'll keep me afloat for a little bit, right? But I did get lots of restocks in.
A lot of good stuff.
And I'll be opening back up on Saturday. We're kind of waiting to see what the national and the state and the local plans are for reopening. But I can tell you this much, based off what I know right now, unless something different from what I expect happens, something you might see for the Aquaria pre-release, which is May 15th.
May 15th, yep.
Is that you may see me run 8-player events that last 3 rounds, maybe annotated rounds, like 40 minutes, so I can get them done in about 3 hours. And we may see us cycle through those. Now, if you wanted to play in one of those events, and I haven't made this an official thing, I'm just telling you, I'd like to hear from you if you think it's a good idea or bad, either in the comments or in a PM. You can let me know. You would need to wear a face mask. I would only allow 8 people into the store besides me. By the square footage I have, I can't have more than 10 in the whole place. So it'd be 8-person events. You would wear a mask. I would use gloves to hand out all your products. You would not cut anybody's deck or touch anybody else's cards, but you would have to sit across from them and break social distancing if it's still in effect. I'm not saying right now that I want you to break social distancing. I'm just saying if it's still in effect come May 15th, it may be something that we do.
Right. We've kind of did a little bit of testing, and you just sadly you have to break social distancing to play a game of Magic.
Brand new cards. I can't sit 6 feet away from your
you.
board state and see it.
Have any idea what's going on.
I can't do it.
Maybe if we were playing with not new cards, maybe.
You won't be able to bring a friend unless they're in the same event.
Right.
You can't bring your kids. There'll be no spectators. You won't be able to shuffle or touch your opponent's cards. I'll also ask that you leave immediately after because I'll need a little bit of time between because I'll have to go through and clean all the tables, all
Sanitize
the chairs,
everything for
get ready for the next group. That's kind of what pre-release might look like. It's either that or I sell you a kit and you take it home and you play with your spouse, significant other, kids, whatever.
Right.
That's the only two options I'm going to have. And it's not going to be anything different from that. I know they're not going to relax things to where I can have a 30-person event.
No.
It's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
If I can have an event at all, it's going to be that way, and I'm going to run several of them and give you the option. So you just stay tuned to the Facebook, stay tuned to Chatter. The Chatter after May 4th, which would be, let's see, May 4th is Tuesday.
Yeah.
No, May 4th is a Monday.
Okay.
Because Cinco de Mayo is on Taco Tuesday.
Okay. Well, that's handy.
That is handy. Cinco de Mayo is Taco Tuesday, if you didn't know. So, 6th, 7th. So, the Chatter on the 7th of May will give you the straight poop lowdown on what we're doing for the pre-release the following week. So, definitely you want to be here for that. But I'll put it on Facebook and I'll broadcast it big time. But that's what I'm looking at doing. So, again, let me know what you think about it. Agree, disagree, whatever. I'm open. I'm open to hearing what you got to say. All right.
Right.
From my locals, anyway. I mean, you can tell me from somewhere else. Did you come in? Feel safe, secure to do so. If not, that's fine. Is there a change that I need to make in it to make it better? The one thing I can't get around is the social distancing.
Yeah, it's just impossible to play Magic that way.
It just is. We would be a group of less than 10. We'd be following everything we could, taking all the measures that we possibly could to protect everybody except for the 6 feet. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and bust it out. We're about halfway through. We're going to bust through about 20 or 30 minutes here of rare discussion from Ikoria.
Right. Now, this guy, we all knew this was a multicolored set, a 3-colored set. They're doing the wedges. And
a wedge set, by the way, means a color and then the 2 colors opposite on the color wheel.
It's two enemy colors.
Makes like a slice of pie, kind of. You know? It's a wedge.
Right. But I didn't really realize until we started doing this review, and I looked. There's only 4 rares that are monocolored for each color. Everything else is multicolored mostly.
And 2 of those rares are each part of a cycle.
Yes.
Now, if you haven't heard us talk about cycles before, a cycle is when something similar appears in like each color, normally. Okay? So, I'm going to start us off by talking about that because mutate is a big mechanic.
Yeah.
That there is a cycle of mutate cards that runs through all 5 colors. And with the exception of blue, all the other 4 have triggers on them.
Yeah.
So, like the white one makes cat tokens. That's a Cub Warden.
With lifelink, of course.
Of course. The black one is Dirge Bat, and it destroys a creature or planeswalker.
Yep.
An opponent controls. Red has Everquill Phoenix, which creates a feather token. And that's Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield tap. This is going to go in my commander deck, by the way.
I don't know if there's a legendary Phoenix or not, but it kind of makes me want to build Phoenix Tribal.
I got Squee as my guy.
He's your Phoenix.
Well, he's like a Phoenix. He comes back.
He never dies.
And then green has Gem Razor, which destroys enchantments or artifacts. And those all trigger on a mutate trigger and do those things. Blues doesn't do that. It just has the curiosity ability.
Right.
When it hits your opponent, you get to draw a card.
Deals combat damage.
When it hits your opponent, it deals combat damage. So that's a cycle that runs through all the monocolors.
Yes.
I'm not going to go over every single card and read each card. If you guys want to pull those up on Scryfall or whatever search engine you use, you can follow along as we kind of talk about them. But that's a cycle. This, Alan and I were looking because I just saw cycle after cycle after cycle.
There's a lot.
So there are 53 rares in this set. 53. Of those 53, 40 of them are parts of cycles.
Yes.
40. Only 13 cards are not part of a cycle. And I tried to put those in cycles and couldn't do it.
He tried.
I tried. Doesn't work.
And that's 2 of each color, facts, and 1 land.
And 1 land.
Every gold card is part of a cycle.
It's part of a cycle.
Yes.
It actually is. All right, so did you want to jump in with anything on any of those cards that are in that cycle specifically?
The mutate cycle?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I'd rather jump over to the mythoses. For one, they're gorgeous.
Why are people saying mythos? Isn't it mythos?
Mythos. It is mythos.
M-Y-T-H, it's a myth. Mythos, right?
Yes, mythos. Mythos, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, you're not Jar Jar Binks, right? Misa think that mythos. So, there is the mythos cycle.
Yeah, these are the ones where the one we all talked about a bit was Mythos of Nethroi has had some, the wording on it has had some talk.
Yeah, they're all instants and sorceries.
They're all instants and sorceries that are mono-colored, but their color identity is not. They have an alternate, if you pay their generic mana using specific other mana, they have added abilities to their effects.
So specifically, and again, because it's a wedge set, so like the white one, if you use, it's 2 white and 2.
It's a board wipe of sorts.
If you spend a red and a black as those 2 generic colors,
right,
then you get an additional effect. So the white one, for example, each player chooses an artifact, creature, enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control, then sacrifices the rest. But if you played red and black as your 2 generic, then you get to choose.
You get to choose the permanents for each player.
Yes, which is pretty sweet. So each of the mythos does that type of thing.
Right.
In black, you destroy a creature but it's a non-land permanent if you use black,
white,
blue.
Clones, but...
Well, it's not... It's a copy, because it makes a copy of target permanent. You could do a land.
That's true.
You could do a planeswalker.
That's true.
You could do an enchantment. But if it's a creature and you spend red and green in it, it fights.
It fights. It's an ETB fight.
But it has to be a creature to fight, obviously.
Right.
The red one deals 5 damage.
The creature or planeswalker, and if you spend a blue and a white, then they can't attack or block or activate any of their abilities until
your next turn. And then the green one is return up to 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand. But if you spend a blue and a black as part of the 2 generic, then you get to search your library and put a card into your graveyard. So that's another cycle, folks.
Yeah,
you know,
they're all pretty cool.
They're all pretty neat.
They all have.
They do things that you're used to them doing. Red does damage. Green regrows stuff.
Yep.
Black kills something. Blue copies something.
White's a board wipe.
It's a board wipe. So
kills everything.
You know, those are all cycles.
Right. Now, in our monocolored stuff, we do have, like I said, 2 in each color that are not part of a cycle.
Yeah, were there some of those you want to talk about?
I wanted to touch on the Drannith Magistrate real quick.
Okay.
It's nothing super important, but we talk about this. We always have our conversation of white, and I just want to reiterate once again that this is one of those things where I think what hurts white in the casual play of Commander is the things white is good at isn't fun. White's good at prison effects, is one of its strong suits. Taxing and prison effects. Drannith Magistrate is white and 1 for a 1/3. And it just simply says your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands.
Want to cast that out of your graveyard? Nope.
Also interesting, this comes out the set after Escape. They let Escape have its heyday for a few months, and then they give us an answer.
Give you an answer.
Right.
Sure.
But that's a powerful card, actually, guys, especially in something like Commander. But it's not fun and it's not flashy, and White's power really comes in the non-fun, non-flashy things. I think part of what
you want to touch on that one. Just
Sharknado.
Briefly?
I mean, Shark Typhoon.
Shark Typhoon. There's no Sharknado.
That's right. It's an enchantment, which means it just keeps going on. I mean, what are they on, like the 4th sequel? All right, so it's a blue and 5 for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you can create a blue shark creature token with flying, where X is at That's pretty cool if you want to play Spells Matters, guys.
Yep.
Make it cooler, though. It has cycling for a blue, a 1, and X. I don't know if I've ever seen X in a cycling cost before. And when you cycle Shark Typhoon,
Creative Justice.
You get to create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. So you get to make 1 if you pay the X and make 1, or you play it as an enchantment and you're making them every time you cast spells. So pretty cool.
So that's pretty new. And then you wanted to talk about the Phoenix?
Yeah, we mentioned it a little bit when you were talking about the
Oh, that's right, you did.
No,
yeah.
it was Yadaro.
Oh, Yadaro.
I want to talk about Yadaro for just a minute because
He's a dinosaur turtle.
He's a dinosaur turtle.
Legendary.
He looks pretty cool. He's 2 red and 5 for an 8/8 with trample and haste.
Haste in a turtle.
He's quick, man. He's quick.
He's quick.
He also has cycling for a red and 1, and this is the cool part.
This is the cool part.
When you cycle Yadaro Wandering Monster, shuffle it into your library from your graveyard. If you've cycled a card named Yadaro Wandering Monster 4 or more times this game, put it onto the battlefield from your graveyard instead. Oh,
This has so much flavor.
so much flavor.
This so much reminds me of the turtle and the hare, the race.
Yeah.
You know, because the turtle, he shuffles in, he shuffles in, he shuffles in, he shuffles.
Boom, he's there.
Hey! Hey, he's there. That's why he's got haste, because he built up for it, man. That's why I don't ever want to play that thing for 2 red and 5. I want to cycle him and get him out. That's how I want to do him.
It's pretty awesome. I'm excited to play that card. And then I think there's one there for you.
Yeah, we skipped black, so we ought to go back and pick that up. But I'm going to do that in a little bit.
Okay,
I got a plan.
You got a plan.
Yeah, so I'm real excited for 2 green and 5 Colossification. It's an enchantment aura. You enchant a creature. When it enters the battlefield, you tap the enchanted creature, and it gets +20/+20. That is one big monster that you just made. When it untaps, happiness is going to occur on your side of the field and sadness on the other. So
Just make sure you put it on something with trample, guys. Just make sure you put it on something with trample.
something with trample, and you've got a ram through in your hand, and life is good. I want to do that as many times as I can. I want to draft it at least once. Please get us out of social distancing so we can draft. I want to draft this. I want to pack one, pick one, that, and get some ram throughs, and I just want to have a good time.
Then,
Alright.
most of the rest of the rares are gold. They are multicolored.
Well, let's just go ahead and skip down here to the lands.
Oh, the lands?
Because there's 6 of them. One is not part of the cycle, and it's not particularly great. It's okay.
We may have mentioned this, or maybe it was on Reblog Talk. We mentioned that we got tri-lands. We got the tricycle lands.
We got tri-lands, yeah. So they are the wedge colors, because
Right.
we're in a wedge set. And they all cycle for 3. They all produce 3 colors, and they all have 3 basic land types on them.
And they enter the battlefield tapped.
Of course.
Don't forget that part.
And only tapped.
Right.
But that's a sweet cycle of lands.
Right. And if you guys haven't seen them yet, go look for the showcase artwork of them. Here's some of the prettiest cards ever. That's...
We want to touch on the companion real quick.
We have a cycle of 10, all 10 hybrid colors.
All 10 hybrid colors, so all the color combinations.
They're all legendary creatures, and they all have the companion ability, which we've maybe breaking magic in half. You have an extra card. I don't know.
A lot of folks for the older formats are saying that because you got an 8th card that's always accessible to you, it's very broken.
Right.
Some of these are really good in the older formats because the build around isn't that hard. We're also hearing that limited is great with them because trying to draft around a certain card and play it is very exciting.
Like I said, the only Ikoria I've played is sealed, and I wasn't able to use any of my companions. I had 2 companions actually out of my 6 rares, but I wasn't able to make them companions.
Yeah,
so.
If you haven't seen, maybe we just real quick, you got deck restrictions. So the companion sits in your sideboard, if you don't know what it is.
Right.
Sits in your sideboard, takes up a sideboard slot.
Right.
Okay? You can only have 1 companion per game. You have to announce it before the game starts, and at any time during the game, you can cast it from your sideboard.
Yes.
Okay? And they all have deck building restrictions. We're just going to run through those real quick. So if you don't build your deck in this manner, you can't use it as your companion.
Right.
So you've got Garuda.
Garuda, the Doom of Depths. This one got banned on Magic Online for a while because it's been bugged. It's not broken. It's just bugged and it's not working properly.
So your starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana cost. So you can't have anything that doesn't have an even converted mana cost.
Right.
We're not going to go over abilities. You guys can look these up.
There's Giganta, the Wellspring, and no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol in its cost.
Yeah, so the first one was Dimir, blue-black. This one is Gruul, red-green.
Right.
The Selesnya green-white one is Kahira, and it says each creature card in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast card.
Which are the 5 main creature types of Aquaria.
They are. That's going to be important. We're going to come back to that in a minute. Lurrus.
This one seems to be the one that's really kind of breaking the world open. It's a Lurrus of the Dream Den. It's in Orzhov colors, 2 Orzhov hybrid and 1. And its companion restriction is each permanent card in your starting deck has a converted mana cost of 2 or less.
Real easy to do in the old formats.
Right.
Eternal formats, Vintage and Legacy doesn't play anything that costs more than 2 anyway.
Right.
Because
they
don't.
You don't have to.
Lutri got banned before we even got here. That's the Is It one.
Right.
Because each non-land card in your starting deck has different name. That's real easy to do in Commander. We just talked about that a while ago.
That's a rule in Commander.
It's a free card to just play. It's
right.
just a free card. So it got banned in Brawl and in Commander.
We have Obosh, the Prey Piercer, which is maybe the coolest name of all of them.
It's Rakdos.
It's the Rakdos one. And your starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana cost and land cards. Huh. I guess because
lands have none and 0 is even.
Gotcha.
He's wondering why the other one didn't say lands.
Right.
Lands have 0 converted mana cost, and 0 is considered even in Magic.
That's right.
Yumori is the Golgari one. It's a ooze, and it says each non-land card in your starting deck shares a card type. So you could play all enchantments, all creatures, whatever.
It does a little bit easier right after a Theros set. You can do all enchantments and still have creatures in there. We have Yorion, the Sky Nomad. This is our Azorius one, a bird serpent. Hey, it's one of them snake birds.
It's a snake.
And its companion, your starting deck contains at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size.
So if you draft this, you're going to have to play a 60-card deck. If you play it in Constructed, you got to play 80.
Right.
And
you can't play it in Commander.
Because there is no minimum deck in Commander. There's a maximum
deck.
So it's just not
playable.
As a companion, you could play it.
You can play it in the deck.
Otherwise, yeah.
Yes.
And then there's Zerta, who is the Boros one. And it says each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability. So that's a cycle. And that's all those. Now within the gold cards, the other gold cards, we have 3 cycles.
We have 3 cycles. You want to start with... You start where you'd like, and then we can work our way.
We'll start with the enchantments.
Okay.
There's a cycle of enchantments for all the wedges. The Abzan one has cost the Abzan colors,
right.
green, black, white. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then return a creature card with lesser converted mana cost than the creature that died from your graveyard to your hand. For 1 mana, you can sacrifice Death's Oasis, and you gain life equal to the greatest converted mana cost among creatures you control.
I have an Abzan Reanimator Commander deck that this set's just gonna love.
I don't know. Maybe we should fly a little bit here. We're over halfway through.
All right.
But that's the Abzan one. So we've kind of been doing a general review here. So
right.
Again, there's a cycle of enchantment. So the other one is Offspring's Revenge. That's black, white, red, and 2. Again, it's
right.
an enchantment. And you get to exile target red, white, or black creature at the beginning of your combat. And then you create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 1/1, and he gains haste. And then we have Song of Creation. I've seen this card getting a little buzz.
This is the Teamer one, and it lets you play an additional land on each of your turns, which is always awesome. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. And at the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. It seems pretty awesome for Teamer. It seems exactly what a Teamer deck kind of wants to do. So.
Oh, yeah. Titan's Nest. This is, what is that, Sultai?
Sultai.
Sultai. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. Exile a card from your graveyard. Add a colorless mana. Spend this mana only to cast a colored spell without X in its mana cost.
Yes. They're not going to let you pump up big old X spells with it. They're smart.
Right.
Whirlwind of Thought is the Jeskai one. And it's pretty simple. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card.
Seems pretty good.
That's everything Jeskai wants to do.
Seems pretty good.
Yep.
And then there's the obvious cycle because they all have ultimatum in the name.
Right, the big bad ultimatums. And like I said, that my Abzan Reanimator deck is going to love this set. The Eerie Ultimatum, which is the Abzan one, so that means it's 2 white, 3 black, and 2 green. But you return any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. Hey, let me tell you, in Commander, that card's awesome. Other than the lands, they all got a different name.
So the Sultai one is 2 black, 3 green, and 2 blue. Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards. Shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana cost, and then you exile Emergent Ultimatum.
Wow, that also seems very good.
That's pretty good.
Genesis Ultimatum, it's the Teamer one. You get to look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest into your hand. And then you exile this ultimatum as well.
Yeah, they don't all get exiled.
They don't
some
all.
of them do, yeah.
Yeah, the ones that have a lot of card advantage on them, they only let you do once.
Inspired Ultimatum is the Jeskai one. 2 blue, 3 red, and 2 white. Target player gains 5 life. Inspired Ultimatum deals 5 damage to any target, and then you draw 5 cards.
What,
And the last one is Ruinous Ultimatum.
what do you think it does?
2 red, 3 black, or 3 white, and 2 black. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control.
That's what I thought it would do.
So the other cycle is a little harder to catch, but once I looked, it was pretty easy.
Right.
This is a cycle that combines all the friendly colors together. So you've got a Selesnya creature.
Even though this is a wedge set, we've got 2 colors.
This is 2 color, and it's combining the 2 creature types from the set that you're supposed to make monsters out of.
Right.
So it's a cat beast. It's Selesnya. And then
See, we've got the Nightmare Dinosaur and Rakdos.
Rakdos has a Nightmare Dinosaur. And then, let's see.
Gruul has a Dinosaur Beast.
Dinosaur Beast.
He's cool looking.
Azorius has an Elemental Cat. Dimir has an Elemental Nightmare.
I really love its name, by the way. Slitherwisp. It just
Slitherwisp was a cool name.
Slitherwisp is a cool name.
So
That's that leaves us with a couple slots we haven't touched on past that. We have a couple.
I forgot to mention, when we're down here looking at these companions that only want you to have even converted mana cost, and there's one that's odd converted mana cost. Let's not forget that both white and black give you ways to handle this.
Yes.
White has a creature called Lava Brink Venturer, and as it enters the battlefield, choose odd or even and cost a white and 2. And then he has protection from each converted mana cost of the chosen value. So
cool.
So you can have protection from everything in the odd or even deck.
Right.
Kind of neat, all right?
And black has Extinction Event. It's a board wide. It is a black and 3, and it says choose odd or even. Exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value.
So again, 2 cards that are going to help you against 2 of those companions. Be watching for them. They are all rares, but be watching for them if you're drafting or playing. You might need to pick those up.
You might. And we got a couple things that don't fall in these cycles. We got a couple artifacts in the set and a land we can touch on real quick since there's not much.
I'm not really interested in the land.
Okay, nor am I.
This is the thing we want to touch.
We want to talk about the Ozolith. I haven't even read that other. I don't even know what that
the
other.
The Crystalline Giant means you're going to need a 10-sider to randomly determine which counter you're going to use.
Okay.
It's going to be difficult.
It's a pain. It's gotcha.
But the Ozolith only costs 1. It's a legendary artifact.
This thing's cool.
Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. Now, you can either take none or all, not part. If you had 4 flying counters end up going on there from 4 flying counter creatures dying, you're going to put 4 flying counters on 1 creature.
Yeah.
But all counters get moved on to something if you want to move them. This looks super fun to play.
It really does, especially with all the crazy counter stuff going on. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It could be fun in some weird big commander games. There could be some crazy counters end up on there.
This would have been awesome to build around when we were doing our commander build arounds and using non-legendary creatures for our commanders.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? It's a 1-drop. It's legendary. Right away, you start building value on your dudes.
Oh yeah. You go with the 1/1 creature or +1/+1 counter theme, and it just builds them all up. So when they die, you just whatever you catch, it gets huge.
Affinity becomes really, really good.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's our review of the rares. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it.
Yeah.
As we drill into the next 2 weeks, it's really going to be real handy because going into pre-release, limited, which hopefully we'll be able to do.
Right.
These are the cards you'll see the most of. These are cards that you'll want to build your decks with. And we're going to really highlight in each color which cards we think might get overlooked or that you should definitely be playing with.
And we'll try to hit on all the archetypes. We'll hit on those next week when we do Uncommons. Uncommons where you get your signpost for archetypes. They try to build in there. I haven't even looked at all of them. I know red-white is cycling. That's this archetype for red-white.
Yeah.
You know.
Because red and white normally doesn't get card advantage and get to draw much. So they built it into it.
They built it in with cycling because you can. Cycling is in all colors. And
watch Reblogatog when it gets posted up this weekend, and you'll see that we talked about it there as well.
Yes, we did.
Anyway, guys, I don't think we have anything else. I haven't followed along real good with questions.
It looks like we made it through everything there. So.
Everything here, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, everything on there. So thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate all of you. And remember, I'm opening up on Saturday. I'll be posting a video tomorrow night with a little tour of the store, showing you what I've changed up so you're not lost when you walk in. Widening some aisles because I don't need the table space right now.
Right.
And but this is Grow Gamers Guild, and it's where everybody knows your game.